Well, I've been here for 18 and 3/4 years. When I leave, it will definitely be sold. It'll belong to a doctor who's now 77 and he's getting old, and so he wishes to sell the property. And all these years I've sort of bailed him out because the state of the building is actually quite terrible, because it actually leaks and we've had to put firewalls. Here's another one here that I found when the fireplace had fallen down, you see, where this newspaper clipping from 1912 was at the back, and I found this in the year 2007, July. But that gives you an indication of when the building was sort of built, like possibly Edwardian time. There's 3 terraces here, and in 1938 when the owners purchased it, they turned it into a boarding house, and the name of the place, of course, is called Hensley Hall. They didn't know what to name it, but when the owner's father, present owner's father, realised it was become a boarding house, he made this comment. He said, "Oh, I suppose a lot of pack of old hens will probably be staying here, hence the name Hensley Hall." They evicted everybody in the 1980s, and an old digger was murdered here, and it goes on and on and on. Haunting to me is only in the mind. I get along well with all the spirits in here regardless anyway, even all the rats. There's dead cat skeletons up down the other end of the passageway. There's dead rat upstairs, but you know, that's part of life. It's in a bit of a mess at the moment, but I can give you an idea, like the thing here, like see where the King's Cross Railway seat is. See, I talked about here, see? This used to be the old lounge here in the building. When they purchased the building, they had a wall here. So I smashed the whole wall down because the ceiling there was leaking. You see all the lath and plaster there, just tumbling, because in 1999, April 99, they had a big storm here in the eastern suburbs with something like $1 billion worth of damage to the property, and the owner never ever had fixed it up. Didn't even care to even ring, say, "Are you okay? You and your daughter okay?" Because my daughter was living with me. She lived here for 10 years. There's a few other things here, like artifacts, like this is from an 1884 building where an old Chinese man gave this to me. All this beautiful red glass. When you put it up to the light here, we'll just put this up here, you see the beautiful red. See? And I don't really want to throw it out, see? Well, I collected things to make the place look nice, and because I had a budget, because I wasn't getting any support from the owner. When I came here, a lot of over here, the owner evicted everybody and left 4 old diggers here in the 80s. But over here, these people, I found in the room, these were Serbian people, and they left their dole from the ritual days, you know? Pre-Christian sort of, and it's quite beautiful, and I actually love it. It's been good to me, and I believe that, you know, it's you can see they had their clothes in, they had to walk out because they were all evicted too. I threw the old soldier that was here, as I was saying, it was his friend, and he was afraid to stay here because a lot of junkies were breaking in case he'd get murdered like his friend, you see. And so I contacted the doctor, and he said I could stay here for a minimum of 5 years and pay the bills. So it's gone on to over 18 years, you see. I've got a place in the country where this elderly man that saw me on the garden show. He's 85 and he's now in Thailand, so I'll be looking after this place for him. In the meantime, I would probably go and live on the street for a while because I have nowhere to go, because my name is down on the housing commission. The owners actually said that I will never be homeless, and that's one of the reasons why I stayed on, you see. But I've concocted this word, the Sydney Promise Talk, where in Sydney you meet people from all walks of life at the latte set, and they talk about, "Darling, I'll give you this, I'll promise this job," and all that kind of thing, but it's really just Sydney Promise Talk, loose talk. Sometimes I come and have breakfast. I used to be a tea house here, and all the things here are from you know, different parts around the cross. This is a beautiful piano that I had set up at the other end of the garden, which I found on Christmas Day about 7 years ago. And I managed to get it out of Skip near Darling School and brought it back. And I had it at the other end, and it looks so beautiful. And it's a Japanese one. And it's the spruce there, it's got a beautiful, like, There we are. So, because I actually had a dream about doing the garden when I used to live across the other side of the road there. And, you know, things happen in life. And little did I know that I'll be living here. So I used a strip of land which originally belonged to the RTA. And the owners of Hensley Hall, they purchased the building in 1997. And so if we come around the side here, these here are all futon slats, so that's all I could afford. I had to get on my bike, go around Paddington, or find a futon bed, just cut them up and design it here. And this is the bottom of a, what do you call it, a baby's cot here. Just down here, I designed the garden in a bit of a feng shui style, like this sort of, like that, you know, so you can contemplate on the inside anyhow, the particular style. So feng shui sideways and feng shui, you know, perpendicular, you know. This here is my sort of window. When I meet a lot of Asians, when they come to Sydney, I just for a joke, I say, oh, sometimes I speak in pidgin English just for a joke. They'll say, oh, in Australia we have our barbecue sideways, see? So the idea is to show people that their beauty in the things that we have around us. This is a special one. This down here, which I had on the other part of the garden, but I moved it the other day. I'll just open it. The binding press from Parliament House. And generally they're not allowed to sell it, but I paid the guy some money to bring it up here and dump it. So it's a beautiful memento down here. So the Sydney Council are taking it, the art section, and hoping that they will use it to maybe do an installation, keep in, so we'll be able to preserve this beautiful press. See? Book binding press, and it's really beautiful, heavy cast iron, totally heavy. And this here is an Aboriginal design going from waterhole to waterhole. See? This is 1860 fireplace that a banker, merchant banker, gave it to me in Glenview Street in Paddington. And I said I could have it. And of course, there's our famous bourbon and beef fence there, of course, you know, which goes right down there. We've got to conserve as much as we can of the old what's left of Sydney, so that people, young people like yourself, can, you know, aspire to ideas and maybe intermingle all these ideas as our culture evolves. My own particular family, they first hit Sydney in 1822. See, part of the family, and then they went to New Zealand. Now over here, sometimes in life you have to be like there's a lot of you know, drunk people come here in the evening, and of course they want to urinate. You know, they get drunk and they come over here, and of course they urinate, and of course they get a bit of a splashback on the glass here. See, they go home with a bit of wet pants. See. There's another floorboards here. In 1997, John Howard wouldn't apologise to the Indigenous people, and I saw it on TV, so I did a sculpture, and this is part of the sculpture here, and it's got the word termination. See, they wanted to terminate native title, and but I used that as a sort of a tongue-in-cheek, whereby as you can see that the termites did most of the work. It's an equilateral triangle. I had a gun in it and everything, and pastoralists there, Aboriginals in there, and Kim Beazley was looking at it when I had it up in the front. It sort of blew people away because they thought I was trying to start some kind of cult. You know, we must be proud of all our suburbs, our little tribal things around here, and you know, and so that we can work in with each other, bring harmony, that we're all interconnected in some way, and you know, just help one another. We've got so much to offer to each other. What's interesting here, I would have loved to call this King's Cross Island out here, see? I had this mad dream of putting a red carpet here one day, and putting a table, and maybe having a glass of wine with a few friends on here, see? Carry on being creative, endeavour to find out creativity, and because I think that without creativity, I think it'd be you know, it won't be a rich world, see? Everything's been creative, even Leonardo da Vinci and all. You go right back to the caveman, you see? The council have been very, very good to me, particularly Dave Murty. He was the council inspector. he said that I'll be the last one here, and when I move out, I didn't want to see the building knocked down because they, or see me evicted because I would be homeless. So I've always taken that into consideration, never forgotten them for that, see? They know that it isn't really safe, particularly when it has never been fixed since the 99 storm, see? Quite sad. That's one of the reasons my daughter isn't here with me today. I really miss her. So, I think if you have a bit of commonality, simplicity, there's possibly a little bit of wisdom there, and we've all got that in us when we're born. We're born very pure as a beautiful child, but as we get educated, we tend to lose that. We compete against each other to cutthroat the next person instead of being able to have that love. You know, we lose that love.